We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Have you ever wondered why the news plays the same 5 stories again and again? Let me give you a little hint. Brainwashing and repetition is the most basic form of brainwashing. Join me as we look at the news cycle and talk about why the mainstream media is so gutless and afraid to report the truth. Good day and welcome to Conspiracy News with Michael Strange. This is the show where we talk about the news. But of course, you know, that's not really as simple as that. It can't be as simple as that, can it? You just read the news. It's kind of like the newsman, you know, doing his thing. Just telling you what's going on in the world, right? It's not as simple as that anymore with the news, is it? I think you the more you turn on any sort of mass media, the more you start to realize that there's clearly an agenda, and not just an agenda, probably an agenda that's been put together in some ridiculous think tank somewhere, and split test with your own metadata, used it against you, weaponized all of it, and then prepackaged it just perfectly for Don Lemon or Sean Hannity to read it back to you. And that's really what the news kind of ends up being today, isn't it? Doesn't it? It seems like that. I think that's probably pretty accurate, and it's an unfortunate thing, but we can fight back, and I of course mean that without any violence. Of course, I just mean we can fight back in the information war that is, and maybe claim some of these things back. But they have other ideas. I'll play you a clip in a sec that explains exactly what I'm talking about. But definitely, they notice the media as they are. They do notice that we're. Not us in particular, but that the independent broadcaster is kind of taking back the internet. It's kind of taking back narratives, and it's becoming problematic for them. And so they're noticing. They're definitely noticing. So yeah, that's what this show's about, really. It's kind of taking back that narrative and talking about news that's important to us. Talking about, of course, pointing out hypocrisy in the media and all the rest of this. But there's more to it than that. There's a lot more to it than that. And then also being able to claim our own narratives and make things important that we believe are important, and not the same old, basically the way news works today is if they can't weaponize it, then they're not going to play it, right? They'll do like a quick brief and that's it, but then they'll just lean on the stuff they can weaponize against you. So anyway, that's what the show's about. It's really kind of looking at the parts of the news cycle in that way, and doing it like that, and et cetera, so on. What's up, guys? I see you there in chat. Thanks for being here. Okay. So, with all of that said, this is an important part of this, is that this show is live. We record this show live. We'll always record this show live. All the ums and ahs, all the, things, my brain misfiring in the middle of a segment or whatever, it happens, right? Because I'm human, but it's more important to me to be able to include you guys if you want to be part of this. If you want to, if you have comments on any of the news, if you want to just say hi, give a show feedback. If you want to disagree with me, it's no problem. That's all okay. That's allowed here. Many places in the world right now, it's not allowed because one, they will come after you, and like literally come after you. And other places, if you're on a different side of the aisle as somebody, you're not allowed to actually talk out what the differences are. You're supposed to hate them. You're supposed to hate them. The 2 minutes of hate. Anybody remember that from the last show we did on Troubled Minds? Yeah, 2 minutes of hate. So anyway, if you want to be part of this show, 702-957-1037. That's a Las Vegas area code. You can also click the Discord link, and the Discord is a chat client, a voice client, and you can find the invite link at troubledminds.org. That's the official website for this podcast and the other, which is called Troubled Minds, of course. And yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up. Join the Discord. Even if you don't want to be on the show, join the Discord. Lots of interesting conversation going on in there. So please join it. Come say hi. And one more time, 702-957-1037. Now let's get to what we were talking about, shall we? Let's do it. Like I said, they're noticing. Okay, now the media themselves, the folks in power, right? The ones who would use your own metadata against you. These individuals are noticing that shows like this, and there's millions of them, I'm sure, that do a good job of not doing what they do, basically, and so they're terrified. And why are they terrified? Well, let's hear what they had to say on CNN. I think this was today on the Brian Stelter show. And he's a clown. He's a straight up clown, that guy. But anyway, here's what a guest was saying on his show. Listen to this very carefully, what they're saying regarding the media and regarding the information from shows like this. And it's clearly a threat to them. Here we go. Let's play this, and I'll bring up where I got the information from. Action.
Now we're talking about domestic audience in the United States. And the challenge is going to be partially that, ISIS did not have a domestic constituency in the United States Congress. But there is over half of the Republicans in Congress voted to overturn the election. And there will be a continual political pressure on the companies to not take it seriously. So I think first you have to focus on those violent extremists, and those companies have to be brave in that way. And second, we have to turn down the capability of these conservative influencers to reach these huge audiences. There are people on YouTube, for example, that have a larger audience than daytime CNN, and they are extremely radical and pushing extremely radical views. And so it's up to the Facebooks and YouTubes in particular to think about whether or not they want to be effectively cable networks for disinformation. And then we're going to have to figure out the OANN and Newsmax problem. That these companies have freedom of speech, but I'm not sure we need Verizon, AT&T, Comcast, and such to be bringing them into tens of millions of homes. This is allowing people to seek out information if they really want to, but not pushing it into their faces, I think is where we're going to have to go here.
Okay, exactly. There's a lot there. This is an action-packed 1 minute. I'll play it again just at the end of this after I kind of break it down. But holy shit, right? Now this is the nuttiest part. In the very beginning of this, the guy says, "Well, you notice that ISIS didn't have a seat at Congress, right?" Like he's basically saying that if you're on the wrong side of the aisle here, basically CNN is clearly the lefties, and if you're on the other side, you're akin to ISIS. All right, and then so he's kind of making the claim that by bringing that up, that people that are part of that other movement, that conspiracy movement, that you can't speak that letter anymore, but people that are part of that movement are now getting into Congress here or there, right? So it's totally okay if you get like the far radical left, calling for all kinds of ridiculous things to get into Congress, but you get the people from the other side, and it's ridiculous, right? So they're ISIS, right? And so now you have ISIS members with a seat in Congress. Okay, now how ridiculous is that? But then they go on to say even more so that there's a problem with shows like this because some of these shows have a larger daytime audience than CNN, and that's a problem, right? So it's not about it. It's just like we always say. This is not good. This is not a good thing. And so I don't know about Newsmax and OAN or whatever they're called. Like I've heard they're ultra conservative. I've never watched one. I don't know. It might terrify me just as equally if I turn that on. I don't know. But basically, they're saying that they have to do something about this. And it's up to Facebook and Google and these guys to crack down on shows like this and not allow us to have as big an audience as CNN. You see what's happening here? And you know why CNN doesn't have a big audience, by the way? It's because they're terrible. Because they're terrible, right? So you get like the same echo chamber of knuckleheads watching this all the time, and so it doesn't grow because they're not doing anything smart or funny or interesting. They're just like echo chambering, right? And so big whoop, right? That's why they have a small audience by comparison to some YouTubers. Okay, now it's an important distinction to make, right? If they did a better job, they'd have a better audience, all right? But they don't, and this is what was going on today on his show, Brian Stelter, and I think it's called what's it called? It says reliable sources. I think that's the name of his show, which is hilarious. All right, play this one more time just so you can hear this. Now, after I broke it down, listen very carefully to what they say, and then we'll move on to the next story here.
Now we're talking about domestic audience in the United States. And the challenge is going to be partially that, ISIS did not have a domestic constituency in the United States Congress. But there is over half of the Republicans in Congress voted to overturn the election. And there will be a continual political pressure on the companies to not take it seriously. So I think first you have to focus on those violent extremists, and those companies have to be brave in that way. And second, we have to turn down the capability of these conservative influencers to reach these huge audiences. There are people on YouTube, for example, that have a larger audience than daytime CNN, and they are extremely radical and pushing extremely radical views. And so it's up to the Facebooks and YouTubes in particular to think about whether or not they want to be effectively cable networks for disinformation. And then we're going to have to figure out the OANN and Newsmax problem. That these companies have freedom of speech, but I'm not sure we need Verizon, AT&T, Comcast, and such to be bringing them into tens of millions of homes. This is allowing people to seek out information if they really want to, but not pushing it into their faces, I think is where we're going to have to go here.
Okay, and so what he really means is you need to hide it. You need to bury it at the bottom of the indexes so nobody can find it. If they want to seek it out, they want to spend extra time trying to dig down and find it, so be it. But we shouldn't actually make it easy for them to consume this dangerous information, right? This dangerous thoughts. The thought. This is the thought police, guys. This is 1984 in action, and yeah, what the hell? This show's live that I mentioned. If you want to be part of the show, if you have comments on this or anything else, 702-957-1037. Click the link at troubledminds.org, which is the Discord link, of course, and you could join the show on Discord as well. And let's continue, shall we? Let's go to this one. This is from Fox 5 Vegas, and that's where I'm from. I live in Vegas, and like I said, I like to keep you guys abreast of what's going on locally here, because if you don't, you end up, you guys basically, for instance, would rely on the mainstream media to report to you what's happening in Las Vegas. You understand? Because, of course, you don't get local Vegas news. So it's important that we share these types of things. I want to hear what's happening in your neck of the woods as well. I say this a lot, and it's true. So if we go direct and talk about our local news with each other directly in a platform like this, we can actually see better what's going on in the world, in our worlds, instead of having the mainstream media filter it. So anyway, now this is from Fox 5 Vegas, and headline is this: Las Vegas police arrest 20 in overnight multi-agency operations. All right, which is like, whatever, like standard. People get arrested, right? But again, here's the weird part. Notice how we talk about child trafficking, human trafficking, this type of thing, and how it doesn't really get a lot of play in the media. Well, what do you think this sting was, and what they arrested? Well, we'll look at that in a sec, but look at the headline. Las Vegas police arrest 20 in overnight multi-agency operation. Let's read it. Las Vegas police said they arrested these 20 people in the multi-agency operation focused on violent crime and human trafficking. So explain to me why that's not in the headline. Anybody know? Yeah, exactly. Police said 7 people were arrested on felony charges while there were 13 misdemeanor arrests. The Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department Spring Valley Area Command, who posted the information on Operation Shield Saturday, said 9 of the misdemeanor arrests were vice-related offenses on the Tropicana corridor. During the operation, Las Vegas police also gave 24 traffic citations, impounded 2 firearms, stopped 84 vehicles, and stopped 21 pedestrians. Police said the variety of arrests included a parolee for cocaine for sale, a wanted parolee absconded, fraud-related charges, prohibited person possession firearm, using the ID of another to avoid prosecution, possession of meth cocaine, device crimes, and a DUI. And it just says right there, the vice crimes, right? The vice crimes, right? So the vice crimes are what they said, the human trafficking, the vice crimes, right? The drugs and the human trafficking. And weird how that's not in the headline. It's just a little bit weird to me, probably weird to you. Yeah, that's why we watch the news. That's why we talk about this stuff. It kind of gets it's right there on the top, sure, but it's why is it not in the headline? Why do they not talk about these things? Is this not important? Is this not important? Okay, speaking of which, let's go to back to Brian Stelter for a minute and his goofball CNN show where he talks about ridiculous things, ridiculous sources. Let's call it that. And look at this. This is from Yale news.yale.com. Yale News. Now, this is interesting. Headline is this: disagreement creates cognitive disharmony. All right. You see what we're doing here? You see what we're doing here? Yale researchers have devised a way to peer into the brains of two people simultaneously while they are engaged in discussion. What they found will not surprise anyone who has found themselves arguing about politics or social issues. When two people agree, their brains exhibit a calm synchronicity of activity focused on sensory areas of the brain. When they disagree, however, many other regions of the brain involved in higher cognitive functions become mobilized as each individual combats the other's argument. A Yale-led research team reports January 13th in the journal Frontiers in Human Neuroscience, quote, "Our entire brain is a social processing network," said senior author Joy Hirsch, the Elizabeth Mears and House Jameson Professor of Psychiatry. Holy smokes, why do they got to have 44-word titles? Anyway, quote, "However, it just takes a lot more brain real estate to disagree than to agree." All right, you see what they're saying here? You see what they're saying here? Go with the flow, guys. It's going to be okay. It's all this extra work. You have to think. When you do all this thinking, you know what happens? You just can't. It's going to cause you unnecessary stress to use your brain. It's just just go with the flow. Just go with the prevailing narrative. You understand? Just go with it. They will lead you to the Shangri-La. They will lead you to our coming dystopia. So anyway, for the study, researchers at Yale University College London recruited 38 adults who were asked to say whether they agreed or disagreed with a series of statements such as same-sex marriage is a civil right and marijuana should be legalized. Boy, those are hot topics, aren't they? After matching up pairs based on the responses, the researchers used an imaging technology called functional near-infrared spectroscopy, whatever that word is, to record their brain activity while they engaged in face-to-face discussions. When the people were in agreement, the brain activity was harmonious and tended to be concentrated on sensory areas of the brain, such as the visual system, presumably in response to social cues from their partner. However, during disputes, these areas of the brain were less active. Meanwhile, activity increased in the brain's frontal lobes, home of the higher-order executive functions. So, so basically, guys, if you want to preserve your precious brain power, let's say you didn't get enough food today or something, and you want to preserve your brain power, probably the best way is just to not argue with people at all. Don't use your brain for anything like that. Just go with the flow. It's almost like you had a nice shot that just pacified you and made you willing to go along with the plan. What do they say about the plan? I'm not going to say it, but you know what I'm talking about. That plan or the other plan, whatever the plan is, don't trust that plan. Don't do it. Oh, geez. All right, here we go. Let's see. Where are we at time-wise? I think we're perfect timing. I got a new timer, guys. It's sweet. It's really sweet. I know we've been doing this for 18 minutes and 54 seconds at this current. Let's continue with a quick commercial from our sponsor. And our sponsor is you and me. We don't have sponsors because, of course, well, then we'd have to kind of do what they wanted us to do, right? So here we go. Let's play this, and we'll keep on trucking. Are you digging the show? If so, you can support us quite easily and at no additional cost to you if you already have an Amazon Prime account. Since we stream on Twitch every day, all you have to do is link your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, and they give you free games on a monthly basis for your personal use, and also a bonus $5 a month to send to your favorite streamer as a way to bring more people to Twitch. And all you have to do is sync up to 2 accounts and click subscribe. Thanks for considering us. Okay, so also the show's live. If you want to be part of it, 702-957-1037. That is a Vegas area code, and you can click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. Let us continue, shall we? This is from Business Insider, and interestingly, we have everybody's favorite AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC. She said this. AOC accuses Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook of partial responsibility for the U.S. Capitol insurrection. Uh-oh. I don't think she got the memo that he's probably on her side in the crackdowns, right? but according to her, apparently it's not enough. Let's read some of this. Rep. AOC has accused Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook of being partially responsible for last week's violent siege of the U.S. Capitol building. The New York Congresswoman, referring to Zuckerberg, said, quote, "He is part of the problem. Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook bear partial responsibility for Wednesday's events. Period." Period. Speaking during a virtual town hall meeting on Friday, Ocasio-Cortez went on to say that Facebook was trying to do as much damage control as possible. But they knew. She added, not only did they know, but they allowed it. Okay, so hold on. Remember we were talking about this as everybody knew, because it was all over social media, that there was going to be a gathering, a peaceful protest. Everybody knew this. Everybody knew it was going to be a huge turnout on the 6th. Everybody knew this. This was no secret. So for her to be like, they knew. No. You knew, everybody knew. Quit acting like nobody knew. This is stupid. Like this type of thing is just dumb. How they build the narratives, they leave out critically important details, and then here we are scratching our head trying to figure out what the hell's going on. But it is cute that she doesn't realize Zuckerberg is probably one of her biggest allies. She's going after him. It's his fault. It's his fault. And I'm not going to say she's wrong. I mean, but the crackdown on the information that's coming through Facebook is clearly a different thing entirely. So we'll have to talk about that. But yeah, and we'll continue to keep an eye on that and talk about that. But anyway, so AOC suggested that Facebook has historically had a complete lack of accountability to democracy during the town hall meeting. She particularly focused on what she believes is Zuckerberg's unwillingness to tackle election disinformation. The Congresswoman said, quote, "We knew this was a problem. We knew this is so far out that pre-COVID, I asked him specifically about election disinformation and its ties on Facebook to white supremacist organizations," right? Because, of course, the only ones who talk about cheating in an election are white supremacists, right? Of course, clearly. Those are the only people, guys. But anyway, she referred to her 2019 exchange in Congress in which she grilled Zuckerberg with tough questions about Facebook's refusal to take down political ads with false statements. Isn't all of politics false statements? I mean, if we're being real. Like I said, one of my more probably pertinent and on point representations of what politics actually is it's the entire thing is doublethink. The entire thing is two thoughts in our head at the same time, and somehow we're expected to believe that what they say, these lies they tell us, are rebranded as what they deem rhetoric. Okay, and like I said, if you say one thing today, and 6 months later you say the exact opposite of that thing, that is not rhetoric. I'm sorry. That's a flat out lie. And you're lying to us. Okay? That's not acceptable. I reject it entirely, and that is not rhetoric. All right? We don't live in that world. We live in a real world where when you change your mind and go 180 degrees, it's called a lie. All right? Or at least if you want to own up and say you were mistaken at the time, you can do that. But of course, they never do that because they're protected. The media calls it rhetoric. It's rhetoric, guys. It's not a lie. No. No. Yeah, all right. So she, AOC also seemed to level the accusation against Zuckerberg that he was more than happy to have dinner parties with white supremacist sympathizers. And this is the problem, right? This is exactly the language they use, and it drives me nuts. Because regarding the level of free speech, right? Just regarding free speech, I get this from knuckleheads, okay? Like I say, no, speech is more important, all right? And the first thing they do is they're like, well, what if somebody says death to all Jews? Well, clearly that's a terrible thing. And, let's not, I don't want to hear that. I don't want that anywhere near me. But what are you going to do? Death to them? Like, what are you going to do, right? Then they're like, oh, I knew it. You're a Nazi sympathizer. Like, what? Like, you see what I'm saying? Like this type of language right here, like in this article, is just... This is the rhetoric, right? This is false representation. This is just flat out lies, people. This is flat out lies. Everybody that doesn't agree with you is a white supremacist, right? Reading this, and again, so now she's accusing, poor old Mark Zuckerberg, who, by the way, couldn't be a white supremacist because he's a reptilian alien. Just FYI, by my best estimation. So, Okay. Anyway, let's keep on moving here. Here's another one. Here's one that's pretty interesting. This is by the BBC, one of my favorite news sources out there. And Joe the Pigeon spared by Australia after leg tag found to be fake. Did you guys hear about this pigeon? All right, let's read the article here. This is a little bit nuts. Now, this is one of those classic cases of mistaken identification, right? When you get pulled over by the cops and they're like, "Yeah, well, you fit the description." Yeah, it's happened to me. And I was like, "Well, what did I do though?" Well, you didn't do anything, but you fit the description. Anyway, this poor pigeon fit the description. So Joe the Pigeon made headlines around the world after he was found in a garden in Melbourne wearing what appeared to be a U.S. identification. The bird was to be killed for breaching Australia's quarantine rules. You got that? He had a tag on his leg or something that said he was from the United States. So they figured he flew 8,000 miles or something to get down to Australia, this little pigeon. Think about that. Think about the ridiculousness of one little pigeon flying 8,000 miles or whatever it was, some ridiculous over the ocean type of situation to get to Australia. I guess it's possible, but it just seems ridiculous, doesn't it? To me, it does. Maybe I'm just a knucklehead. But anyway, so the bird was to be killed for breaching Australia's quarantine rules, but he was granted a reprieve amid doubts that about the origin of his leg tag. Quote, following an investigation, the department has concluded that Joe the Pigeon is highly likely to be Australian and does not present a biosecurity risk, Australia's Department of Agriculture, Water and Environment announced on Friday. The department is satisfied that the bird's leg band is a fraudulent copy of a legitimate leg band, the statement said, adding that no further action would be taken against the bird. There you go, right? So you show up at the wrong time, the wrong gate with the wrong passport, and hopefully you're not a biosecurity risk. But anyway, this one turned out good. This was a good happy ending for Joe the Pigeon. He's going to be spared, and he will not be euthanized because of his biosecurity risk that's going on. Super Mike, what's up? Says couldn't they just tell by his accent? Ark says poor bird for violating airspace. Yeah, exactly. I mean, he didn't have his papers together, right? He didn't have his COVID papers. Anyway, you get the point, right? There's some things here that are a little bit implications that are disturbing, even though this is only a pigeon. But hey, Tim, he's the universe. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's go real fast to this, and then we'll take a quick break here. You guys are funny in the chat. Okay. All right. So ctvnews.ca. And if you guys have heard of this is happening. So WhatsApp, actually, so let's just read it. I'm not gonna hip shoot this one. Let's read it. Signal app goes down as users flee new WhatsApp privacy terms. Now, it's been known for some time that eventually with WhatsApp, if anybody uses this, that they're going to start introducing ads into WhatsApp, all right? And so I don't know what that's going to look like. I haven't seen it personally yet. I do have WhatsApp. I'm about to delete the shit out of it, just FYI. Because of this, I have to cajole my peeps that I have on WhatsApp to move over to Signal. Let's see if they do. But yeah, I mean, okay, let me just read part of this, and you'll see what I mean. This is happening. All right, so encrypted chat app Signal remained offline Saturday as the company dealt with technical difficulties amid a surge of new downloads as users flee WhatsApp's new privacy terms. A rival to Telegram and WhatsApp, Signal also employs end-to-end encryption for secure messaging. The company tweeted Friday that they were experiencing technical difficulties as millions upon millions of new users downloaded their app. Like I say, if you don't think that you can change the way that the technocrats do things by the products you use and the dollars you spend, I think you're mistaken, because look at what's happening here. So many of these new users are fleeing from WhatsApp and their new privacy terms they announced last week. WhatsApp, which is owned by Facebook, told its 2 billion users that if they wish to continue using their service, they must allow it to share their data with its parent company, except for users from the UK and Europe. The parent company, of course, being Facebook. And, of course, the reason for that is they want to get put spyware into your WhatsApp so they can track everything you're doing so that they can more perfectly tailor ads to your liking, right? So you can, ad targeting. That's what this is all about. Because they're going to eventually put ads in WhatsApp itself. So anyway, so millions upon millions of people flocking to Signal, right? Because apparently people do care about privacy. Apparently these things are worthy of a conversation, like we always have. Worthy of breaking yourself away from the surveillance state. You don't have to be stuck to this, guys. Like you can minimize it as much as possible. And again, you vote with your dollars, vote with the products you use. These things help. These things really do help. What's up, Lizzie? Says, I read something yesterday. This article was a coded message. Which one? The WhatsApp or the pigeon? Let's see. All right. So let's finish this up real fast, and then we'll keep on trucking here. WhatsApp said in a blog post that their terms were not new, just simply expanded. Oh, you see the double think, right? The basically once you get the PR person to give you what the thing actually is supposed to be, then it's not new, guys. This isn't new. None of this is new information or new terms. They're the same terms. They've just been expanded. You see? You see? The swift exodus of users after their announcement prompted WhatsApp to delay the implementation of their privacy terms from the original date of February 8th to May 15th. All right, so they're trying to figure it out, right? So what that basically means is they're going to wait for it to fall out of the news cycle. And then once it does, then it's going to be a thing, right? So this is PR. This is the way these companies do things. This is all intentional, and they're like, okay, it's too hot. We're getting too much bad press right now. Signal's growing super big because of us. Let's chill out on this. Let's just hit the pause button and wait. Let's just take a deep breath. And we're expanding the terms. They're not new. And then instead of February and May sometime, there'll be new headlines. There'll be people cutting each other's heads off somewhere in the world that we can, the news cycle will lead with that. And then we'll just, slip it in. Slip it in. Signal said they were adding new servers and extra capacity to continue to handle the new peak traffic levels. Yeah. All right. Well, with that said, let's take a quick break. And as you know, these breaks are really fast, but we're going to do that. You're listening to Conspiracy News with Michael Strange, and we will be right back. Okay, welcome back. This is Conspiracy News. I am Michael Strange, and we're talking the news. We're talking the news cycle. We're talking PR. We're talking Facebook and Signal and all the rest of this fun stuff. And Joe the Pigeon, who got a reprieve. So that's what's up. What's up, Dark? Says the algorithms is also the cause of the division in this country, and you were correct. You were correct. Now, interestingly about the algorithms, you notice that they're built on they're built on picking fights, basically. So if you say something to this guy and get into a little heated entanglement at Twitter, and you're basically just a bully, like a just an uncorrigible a-hole bully. And, you're always picking fights on the internet, like it gets headlines. And so as a result of that, the algorithms are basically looking for that. They want engagement based on people bullying each other, right? And then the whole time, again, more doublethink, right? More of this stuff. We're supposed to keep both ideas in our head at the same time, that bullying is terrible. It's awful. You should feel really bad. All the while, the algorithms are boosting incidents of people bullying each other. You see, it's just so dumb. It's all so dumb. But nobody puts it in these terms, right? Nobody breaks it down and says that, what I just said right there. But that's the truth. That is the damn truth. And so, well, what can you do? What can you do? You can maybe do a show like this where you discourage people from shitting on each other. How about that? Let's not do that, guys. All right, here we go. Let's go to The Conversation. This is theconversation.com. Pretty cool article here. Wormholes may be lurking in the universe, and new studies are proposing ways of finding them. So let's see. Wormholes are still in the realm of the imagination, but some scientists think we will soon be able to find them too. Over the past few months, several new studies have suggested intriguing ways forward. Black holes and wormholes are special types of solutions to Einstein's equations, arising when the structure of space-time is strongly bent by gravity. For example, when matter is extremely dense, the fabric of space-time can become so curved that not even light can escape. This, of course, is a black hole. As the theory allows the fabric of space-time to be stretched and bent, one can imagine all sorts of possible configurations. In 1935, Einstein and physicist Nathan Rosen described how two sheets of space-time can be joined together, creating a bridge between two universes. This is a one-of-a-kind wormhole, and since then, many others have been imagined. Of course, that's the famous Einstein-Rosen bridge, which is your basic Star Trek wormhole, right? Take you from one spot in the galaxy or universe to another spot almost instantaneously. So here we go. How do we spot these? How can we ever prove that wormholes exist? In a new paper published in the Monthly Notices of the Royal Society, Russian astronomers suggest they may exist at the center of some very bright galaxies and propose some observations to find them. This is based on what would happen if matter coming out of one side of the wormhole collided with matter that was falling in. Now, the new calculations show that the crash would result in a spectacular display of gamma rays that we could try to observe with telescopes. Okay, so that's how you might be able to find these. They're speculating what they might actually be like, and then if we can find these spectacular displays of gamma rays, we might be able to be onto something here. So anyway, this radiation could be the key to differentiating between a wormhole and a black hole, previously assumed to be indistinguishable from the outside. But black holes should produce fewer gamma rays and eject them in a jet, while radiation produced via a wormhole would be confined to a giant sphere. So pretty good stuff. Maybe time travel is going to be a thing. I guess maybe time travel is going to be a thing. So interesting that people are thinking about these larger concepts. That again, right? Like instead of being just this regressive news cycle of just garbage from the past, rehashed and used as the political cudgel, like I always say. Why aren't we looking forward in things like this? Like, why is this not like exciting news that, hey, like it's possible that we found a way to maybe identify what an actual wormhole is and what it may look like through a telescope? Like, why is this not international news? Sure, it's just a concept at this point, but it's forward-thinking people that are trying to get back and see if the grandfather paradox is a real thing, right? I mean, yeah. Lizzie, what's up? Says, how can we break the algorithms? I'm not sure it's possible at this point, but again, you can turn off particular things that they're trying to make you see, and kind of avoid that trap. Okay, here we go. If you want to be part of the show, it is this is Conspiracy News with Michael Strange. You can give me a call. I'll put you right on the show. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org, and we will keep on trucking, talking about the news. All right, let us continue, shall we? If anybody finds a wormhole, will you please let me know? I'd love to know all about it. All right, let's go with this. Now, as you know, Tuesday of this week on Troubled Minds, we're going to have the guys from Terror in the Woods, that podcast, which is a Bigfoot podcast. Pretty sweet, right? Yeah. So Billy and his brother, Billy Sheehan and his brother are going to be on the show. I can't remember his brother's name. Damn it. All right. Again, see, always about this time, this thing just kind of takes a crap at the phone line. This is Google Voice. See, I'm gonna have to find a different thing. I keep saying that. I hate to have to use Skype or something, but all right. Anyway, what's up? Iden says, not fussed. We are sensible enough to shield against our data. Yeah. Dolly says, you can't. We are in the Matrix. You can't break out of the algorithms. All right. So anyway, let's. Speaking of being in the Matrix, let's talk about Bigfoot. Possible Bigfoot sighting shocks and excites Silverton residents. 'Twas the night of Christmas, and through the West Coot, not a creature was sighted except maybe Bigfoot. What is West Coot? I guess a place. I don't know. Anyway, so this is from January 14th. So at least that's how the famous poem could go after a group of travelers spotted what they say may have been a Bigfoot, also known as a Sasquatch, near Silverton on Christmas night. The four friends were headed to their home on Highway 6, just south of Silverton, on the evening of December 25th, when the people in the front of the vehicle saw what looked like a huge man-like figure on the side of the road. Quote, I didn't see the creature myself. I saw the prints, says Erica Spink D'Souza, who was in the backseat. She's become the informal spokesperson for her companions. But the person on the front seat cried out, oh my gosh, look at that. They said it looked like a huge grizzly or was a large man standing up. But before Spink D'Souza could catch a glimpse, the figure turned, went on all fours, and headed deep into the bush. We tried to turn around and look again, but it was gone, she says. After arriving home and putting her kids to bed, they returned to the scene to look for signs of the mysterious creature. Quote, we saw all these different tracks, and then we saw these tracks that were really alarming, she recalls. They were bipedal tracks in a straight line into the woods. I got a little spooked. It was alarming to see such big prints, but there were no bear tracks. Spink D'Souza and others examined and photographed the tracks, and then she filed a report with a Bigfoot organization online. Interesting. So has anybody seen a Bigfoot recently? I guess they're still out there. They're still out there doing their thing, stomping around in the woods and looking like bears and scaring people with actual Bigfoot looking prints. I mean, this is neat stuff. It doesn't happen too often, unfortunately, and to really make this a real story, you kind of need some footage or some other stuff, right? But it is cool to hear some of these anecdotes of these people that have seen these things, because it's out there. They're out there. Things that we do not know, we have not classified yet, they still exist. Again, the illusion is that we know all the things we need to know about the world we live in, right? That's the illusion. Of course, nobody explicitly says that. That's just what we're expected to believe as a baseline. But clearly, that's not the case in many, many different ways. But Bigfoot is one of them. Well, for example, is this real? Is this whatever this is? I don't know. Pretty cool stuff. Has anybody out there seen Bigfoot themselves? I want to know. Again, if you find a wormhole, if you find a Bigfoot, can you please get me in the loop? I want to know. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubleminds.org. You can find the phone number there as well, and you can join me on the show. All right, so let us continue, shall we? We got some Bigfoot stuff. How about this? Let's go to Farmland. Let's see. Let's look at this one. Now, this is a little bit. No. All right, hold on. I got an autoplay trying to. All right, there we go. Hey, look at that. Oh crap!
Are you there?
I almost defeated the autoplay. Okay, so now this is crazy. This is from Fox Business, and as always, guys, I'm linking my sources. You guys can follow up. You know me. I like sources. I like to be able to talk about where this stuff came from, because the source is part of it. The source is part of the information here. And anyway, Fox Business. Bill Gates becomes top U.S. farmland owner. His largest land holdings are in Louisiana, Arkansas, Nebraska, and Arizona. Yeah. So what does this mean to you guys? When you see this, does this not make people's tinfoil tingle? From the article. Microsoft founder Bill Gates is now the owner of the most farmland in the United States, according to Land Report. The Land Report researchers concluded that Gates, now the fourth richest man in the world, and his wife Melinda own 242,000 acres of farmland. They own roughly 52,000 more acreage than the Offutt family, who sits at number 2 on Land Report's list of families who own the most farmland in the U.S. In total, Bill and Melinda Gates have acquired land in more than a dozen states. However, his largest holdings are Louisiana, Arkansas, Nebraska, Arizona, and Washington State. According to Land Report's research, Gates and his wife had hired former Putnam Investments bond fund manager Michael Larson in 1994 to help them diversify their personal assets. Right, diversify. These investments included a stake in AutoNation, the Charles Hotel in Cambridge, Massachusetts, the Four Seasons in San Francisco, and upward of 100,000 acres of farmland in various lands, Land Report said, citing a 2014 profile. However, Land Report's latest findings show that the 100,000 figure has since surged to more than twice that amount. Once again, guys, why do you think Bill Gates would start buying up farmland? Interesting. All of this is interesting. I mean, we can only speculate as to motive here, but like I said, if this doesn't make your tinfoil tingle, I don't know what does. I really don't. So here's another one. That's from Fox Business. This was reported. This is being reported, actually. I see this pop up here and there. This is from Forbes, actually, as well, talking about the same thing. America's biggest owner of farmland is now Bill Gates. This is from Ariel Shapiro. What's going on here? So let's see. After years of reports he was purchasing agricultural land in places like Florida and Washington, the land report reveals Gates, who has a net worth of nearly $121 billion, has built up a massive farmland portfolio spanning 18 states. According to land report's research, the land is held directly and through third-party entities by Cascade Investments, Gates' personal investment vehicle. Cascade's other investments include food safety company Ecolab, used car retailer Vroom, and Canadian National Railway. So, well, it may not be surprising that a tech billionaire would also be the biggest farmland owner in the country. This is not Gates' only foray into agriculture. In 2008, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation announced $306 million in grants to promote high-yield, sustainable agriculture among smallholder farmers in sub-Saharan Africa and South Asia. The foundation has further invested in the development and proliferation of supercrops resistant to climate change and higher yield dairy cows. Sounds like dystopia to me. Last year, the organization announced Gates AG1, a nonprofit to advance those efforts. So they're moving. They're doing some things and moving and shaking. And now Bill Gates is not only one of the richest people in the world, he owns most of the farmland. So yeah. What's up, Dark DB says, I guess I'm going to start growing my own. Exactly. Just more wealth transference, says Superbike. Starve off the middle class and buy it when they are desperate, right? Jack up the prices, and then once everything bankrupts, then exactly you buy it pennies on the dollar. Yeah, who knows? These types of things is a little bit disturbing. And let's go from here to actually let's take a quick break from a word from our sponsor. If you guys, by the way, if you guys are subbed up to Twitch, you have to renew it every month. So if you subbed up on Prime and you're not currently subbed up to the channel, please just hit subscribe and then scroll down and hit the Prime again, and it will add you for the next month as well. So it has to be like 2 clicks every month, otherwise it just falls off. But anyway, let's go to this explaining exactly what I was just trying to explain myself. Are you digging the show? If so, you can support us quite easily and at no additional cost to you if you already have an Amazon Prime account. Since we stream on Twitch every day, all you have to do is link your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, and they give you free games on a monthly basis for your personal use, and also a bonus $5 a month to send to your favorite streamer as a way to bring more people to Twitch. And all you have to do is sync up the 2 accounts and click subscribe. Thanks for considering us. There we go. All right. So Quint67 says Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation bought 500,000 shares of Monsanto, a leading producer of GMOs, worth a total of $23 billion. I did not know that. Also, by the way, Quint, you called the other night and you told me to go check out these guys, this other platform. Hold on. Let me read this to you real fast. So I tried to figure out what's going on with this Rockfin thing, all right? You said Rockfin, and yeah, all right. So I'm going to read this. I got the email back. I sent them an email. I was like, I can't figure out how to become a creator on this Rockfin platform. So this guy his name is, I won't tell you his name, but he's the VP of Biz Dev at Rockfin. He says, thank you for your interest in creating digital content on Rockfin. At this time, Rockfin has decided not to move forward with publishing your content given the information submitted and the content topics we're currently focusing on. We cannot provide additional information regarding our decision. Sincerely, this asshole. Anyway, there you go. Apparently, they have a very strict purview in the amount of conspiracy that's allowed. So anyway, I tried. Thank you for pointing it out. They told me no. Declined. Oh, well. Okay, here we go. On to this. This is by Bloomberg. Looking for Chinese billionaire Jack Ma. All right, now. Yeah, I'm here at Jack Ma's old apartment in Hangzhou. Hashtag, where is Jack Ma? Alan Wan 290 heads to the hometown of a Chinese billionaire who hasn't been seen in public since regulators began an investigation into his Alibaba empire. He's disappeared, right? We said we keep an eye on this, and this seems to be not really developing because we have no new information. But this individual is actually kind of on the case here, looking to see if they can find this person. So let's just play a little bit of this video as this person shows up. Alan Wan, W-A-N, is looking for Jack Ma. Let's see what's going on with this.
Jack, are you there? Jack, it doesn't look as though we're inside.
looking for Jack Ma, the Chinese billionaire.
Howdy, folks. This is Alan. I'm here at the Hangzhou Railway Station. Just got here. It's a 1-hour train ride from Shanghai. Hangzhou is the headquarters of Jack Ma's Alibaba. By no means do we think that Jack Ma is being detained or anything. The reason why there's so much interest in Jack Ma's whereabouts is he hasn't been seen since November. Back then, he was supposed to appear in a show called Business Heroes, but his publicist said there were scheduling conflicts. And ever since then, we know about the failed IPO for Ant Group. And just recently, the Trump administration announced that they're going to ban some apps, such as WeChat Pay and Alipay.
All right, that's probably enough, but you get the point, right? So he disappeared sometime in November, and he still hasn't been found. They don't know where this guy is. He hasn't surfaced. There's no reporting that anybody actually really knows where he is. And so the sad part here is that we talked about previously from a different article talking about the same topic here, that it's possible he's in a dark room somewhere. It's possible he's dead at this point. All possibilities are on the table. I'm an optimist. I like to think that he's a smart guy, and hopefully he got out of the country before they got him. But I think they're coming after him. I think it's pretty obvious now that he's been he's been missing, and I laugh. It's not funny. This stuff is not funny. This is what goes on around the world, guys. Like I say, I always say we're expected to believe we live in a world where everything is fine, and the government has everything under control, and all this, right? You don't have to look too far to find really terrifying things happening in other places that are supposedly supposed to be. Places that value human rights, right? At least that's the PR angle, but that's not really what happens. So anyway, we'll keep an eye on this and see if Jack Ma actually appears or actually resurfaces at some point. I hope he does. I hope he's okay. This is horrifying to think that if you cross the CCP, even if you're the richest person in China, which Jack Ma is, they'll come get you. They're again, right? It's kind of like taking down the president of the United States off of social media. It's the same thing over there, right? There's some dangerous precedents being set that not just, it doesn't matter who you are, because they will come get you, right? And yeah. So anyway, let's continue, shall we? There is more. This is a good one. How law enforcement gets around your smartphone's encryption. And this is from arstechnica.com, and this is good stuff. So let's see. Cryptographers at Johns Hopkins University used a publicly available documentation from Apple and Google, as well as their own analysis, to assess the robustness of Android and iOS encryption. They also studied more than a decade's worth of reports about which of these mobile security features law enforcement and criminals have previously bypassed or can currently using special hacking tools. The researchers have dug into the current mobile privacy state of affairs and provided technical recommendation for how the two major mobile operating systems can continue to improve their protections. Quote, it just really shocked me because I came into this project thinking that these phones are really protecting user data well, says Johns Hopkins cryptographer Matthew Green, who oversaw the research. Now I've come out of the project thinking almost nothing is protected as much as it could be. So why do we need a backdoor for law enforcement when the protections that these phones actually offer are so bad? Oh, that's a hell of a question, isn't it? Wow. So it's not really security, it's the illusion of security. Does that sound familiar to anybody? It's not actually secure. These things aren't secure. They just tell you they're secure, right? It's kind of like the, well, I don't know. Take anything in geopolitics, right? Yeah, we got that under control. No problem. China's building building on those islands in the South China Sea. Yeah, no problem. No problem. Nothing to see here. All right, anyway. Let's keep on moving. Here's another one that we talked about on our show on what was that? Friday night. This is from the nssf.org, and I don't think we got to this, but we only did a little bit. But headline, deplatforming of gun sites as a dark harbinger. And so, again, like I said, they're going after not only the First Amendment now, they're becoming emboldened, and now they're coming after the Second Amendment. I know I did mention GoDaddy as deplatforming AR-15.com, but there's other stuff happening here. And not only, like I said then, the ACLU, the American Civil Liberties Union, is horrified at this. That we're taking down these gun sites based on the technocrats, right? Based on not the law, but based on the fact that they don't like the Second Amendment. Facebook and the rest of these guys. So they're taking people offline. So these tech giants say they're private businesses and can do as they please. Yet they also profit from government protections that don't apply to more traditional news outlets. The Section 230, which we always talk about, of the Communications Decency Act, give these tech companies immunity from what others post on their sites. These companies are now using that protection to silence the voices that the section of the law was intended to protect. See? So we need some 230 reforms here. These big companies should not be allowed to change the entire face of everything, of literally everything that this country has been for on nearly 250 years. This stuff is terrifying. And if the government doesn't address it as a problem and start to make some again, don't strip 230 away. It's critical to us being able to do this, to talk and be on a social platform. It's critical. All right. So we can't don't be one of those people that's like blindly saying let's strip away the 230 protections for everybody, because that is not it, guys. That's not it. That's not how we should do it. Regardless of what president tells you that's what you want, that is not what you want. I promise. Okay. It would be bad, very bad. All right. So anyway, this is, again, we'll keep an eye on this, because, again, this is not done. This is only the beginning. Like I said, once the administration changes, they're going to become more emboldened. And sites like, who knows, Bud's Gun Shop and some of these other places are going to go down. You'll see. And then not only that, what happens when the payment providers like Stripe and Shopify start pulling their payment processing from these sites? It's gonna become like marijuana in some of these cases, right? Where it's still federally prohibited, so they have to deal in cash. Is that what we're gonna do now? I mean, because you can't pay credit cards because they've pulled it's ridiculous. It's coming. You'll see. I am predicting that Stripe and Shopify payments will soon start disallowing gun sales, because it's not cool, right? Because guns kill people, right? People don't kill people. Guns kill people. So we're taking away your payment processing. Yeah. All right. Let's see. All right. This is interesting. This is back to our favorite, CNN, right? One of my favorites anyway. My personal favorites here. This again. Did you guys hear about the guy with the gun at the Capitol? Did you guys hear about that? Like that, they were doing nothing but like the gun at the Capitol, the guy with the gun, the guy had a Glock. It was a Glock. The guy had a Glock, right? Like all the dumb stuff that was coming out of that. Well, it turns out that guy actually was authorized to have that firearm, and he was a contractor that was working at the Capitol. So it was a mistake or a case of mistaken identification, much like our buddy Joe the Pigeon. All right. But of course it made all this news like this. Oh, this guy tried to get into the Capitol with a gun. He had a gun. It was a Glock. Yeah. But he was actually authorized to be there and authorized to have that firearm. So just saying. Anyway, let's go to this one. So regarding fake news, here's another one. U.S. takes back its assertion that Capitol rioters wanted to capture and assassinate officials. Did you guys see this going around? They were starting to say that this was the case, that the entire motive of them moving up into the Capitol was to capture and assassinate officials, right? Okay. However, here we go. Justice Department prosecutors have formally walked back their assertion in a court filing that said Capitol rioters sought to capture and assassinate elected officials. Oh, oops. For all the whooping it up and all the media drama and all the BS that they always do, the actual prosecutors were like, well, we can't really say that. And you know why they would say that? Because there's no evidence to suggest that. That's why they would say that. Anyway, a federal prosecutor in Arizona asked a magistrate judge in a hearing on Friday to strike the line in a recent court filing about defendant Jacob Anthony Chansley, a man who is alleged to have led some in the crowd to the first wave in Capitol with a bullhorn while carrying a spear and wearing a fur headdress. The QAnon shaman, right? Everybody remembers the Q shaman. The entire line the prosecutors want to omit from their court filing is this. Strong evidence, including Chansley's own words and actions at the Capitol, supporters that the intent of the Capitol rioters was to capture and assassinate elected officials in the United States government. So that's the line they redacted from the legal filing here, the actual prosecutors. One more time. This is the line they removed from the filing, all right? So this was in there. Strong evidence, including Chansley's own words and actions at the Capitol, supports that the intent of the Capitol rioters was to capture and assassinate elected officials in the United States government. All right. So they had to remove that because, of course, there was no evidence of that. But it sure sounds hot and spicy, doesn't it? Right? Like you just look at these guys and the things they're trying to do. They're again, right? If you're part of that movement, right? You're a terrorist. You're a domestic terrorist now. And again, if you're a conspiracy theorist, you are now part of that group. All right. Well, when of course you know me, I haven't talked about that group favorably almost ever, except that I believe they have their right to say what they want to say as long as they're not causing violence. Like, fine, like say what you want to say, but I don't talk about those people. And when I say that sounded bad, I don't talk about that movement. All right, because I don't know. One, it's hard to tell who's even part of that movement in many cases. There's a lot of people that get information that from that movement that don't even realize it's from there. So anyway, you see what's going on here. More BS, more media drama and hoopla and things that are just not true whatsoever. And they have to be removed from court filing documents because, well, that's right. There's no evidence, right? There's no evidence. But of course, you don't get that. You don't get them putting out there in your face explaining why they screwed up or any of this. They just kind of it's out there now. It's out there. So we get this the sort of redaction of that statement from CNN, but it's not going to be on the Don Lemon show, is it? Yeah, I'll bet you it's not. I'll bet you it's not. All right, let's go. Where are we at time-wise? I think we're good. I got a few minutes here. Let's go with this one. TechExplorer.com. Now, Aranon. Yeah, Aranon. My bad. I said their verboten letter. Shame on me. Shame, Michael Strange, shame. All right, let's go. This is from TechExplorer.com. Samsung robot feeds you and helps with the laundry. All right. Here we go. AI is making stunning inroads in the fields of medicine and science. It is helping to cure disease, combat global warming, grow crops, and provide cleaner, cheaper energy. But can it do the laundry? Samsung answered that question on the online CES convention this week, which actually the CES convention should be happening in Vegas, but it's not because of COVID. Again, one of the largest actual conventions that happens here every year. Well, it's not. So anyway, and the economy takes another hit. We talked about that last week. But anyway, so the Seoul-based tech giant reported that it is working on 3 robots that will serve as a personal assistant and tackle a variety of tasks around the home. One, the Bot Handy will help you sort laundry. The Bot Handy has a single arm and three pivot points, allowing enough flexibility to grasp, carry, and position items as delicate as dishes. It has cameras that, with the assistance of AI, can recognize objects and handle them accordingly. Its ability to detect the material of objects held to ensure ensure the correct force will be used to secure, wow, is this badly written or am I just badly reading? Ensure the correct force will be used to secure them in the grasp and carry them to a destination. It will detect, list, and help sort laundry. It can even pour a glass of wine and bring it to you after a hard day of work. All right, now we're talking. Robots are about to be bringing me beer. All right, well, maybe all that stuff I said about AI, we'll just throw it out. Hey, man, if they can bring me a beer, I tell you what, bring me a beer. All right, so I think we're done. I think, let's see, time-wise, where we at? Yep, just over an hour. Try to stick with the clock here, get practiced in being exactly where we need to be when we need to be there. We have more information to talk about, and we will talk about this tomorrow. So, as I say, the good news is the bad news is we're done. The good news is, God willing, we'll be back tomorrow doing this and talking about this stuff. Do not forget, on Tuesday, we have Terror from the Woods, those guys from the podcast, Billy Sheehan and his brother, and again, apologies for forgetting his brother's name. It's 2 letters, JD or something like that. Anyway, I'll look that up and I'll post that in Discord if you guys want to follow up. If you have not joined the Discord, please do, troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link. We'll see you in there, and let's say thank you to the folks that have supported this show. You can do that by clicking subscribe right underneath on the right side there, I believe it is, right on Twitch, and you can do do it for free with Prime, or you can spend some good old-fashioned American greenbacks. Appreciate that a lot. It helps and pays for the phone line and some of these other things that we're doing. So thank you. Appreciate that. Let's say thank you to the folks that have subbed up, and let's finish this sucker up. All right. This is... What is this? This is the Star Wars crawl. With all of your names. And if I've missed anybody or I mispronounced names, please let me know and we'll put you on. But here we go. Let's finish this sucker up. Okay. So as we finish up, a huge thank you to all of our amazing supporters. If you want to join the list, this list, the Star Wars list, the Star Wars crawl, just sub up. We'll put you on the list. So thank you to AJ Dare, Alien Nichan, Arc Platinum, Axel Steel 3, Dark Devious, FGC Spiral, Guerdo 75, Ident, what's up Johnson, Lizzie Dags, Monochromatic, Nikki Nix, Noble Kal-El, Often Frozen, Quint 67, Supervike 1, and Satan Claus. There you go. There you go. Another one in the books. You guys are great. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for being enthusiastic. Thanks for all the great chat. We'll be back tomorrow. Conspiracy News with Michael Strange, 4 p.m. Pacific. Have a great afternoon. Go watch some football or something. Yeah.